All right, I've driven an hour and a half from Denver, Colorado, out here to Morgan County to check out the Peace Valley School. It's an abandoned single-room school that was built in 1911. And I gotta say, this thing is pretty cool. It's really awesome. Check it out. So I'm gonna walk around and try to find out how I wanna shoot all of this and try to find a really good composition. I thought it was really interesting. You see these two like tire tracks. It's kind of nice because it leads you through the scene, kind of towards the tree. So that kind of helps lead the eye. And then you got the balance of the the tree on this side and then the building on this side. That might be something. I don't know. We're gonna go around and take a couple test shots and see what it looks like through the viewfinder. And yes, I know what you're thinking. It looks like it's really warm and really nice there. Why are you wearing a beanie? This wind is crazy, and if I get really cold ears, I get a really bad headache. So, there you go. It might be 61 degrees, but the wind is, it's not super great. All right, anyways, let's get some photos. So one of the compositions I'm seeing is I can just shoot the building straight on. And I've done that with a couple other buildings that I've photographed in the past. And I don't know why I always gravitate towards that. I guess I like the blocky structure. I mean, I typically like squares and rectangles anyways, so maybe that's why. But you don't really get any depth of the building, so shooting it at an angle would be better for that. And then you can see too, I don't get the tree really on the right hand side, unless I were to back up a whole bunch, which I might do. Might work really nice for a 16:9 or like a pano, because there's really not much going on in the foreground here other than these grassy bits and these little things waving in the wind. So we'll keep looking around, see what else we find. All right, let me show you what composition I finally decided on. I walked around a whole bunch. I mean, honestly, I spent like the last hour and a half just walking around with the camera, trying to get a bunch of different shots. And I came up with one that I'm quite happy with. And so I'll show you where it is and then how it looks like. And then if the final image comes out any good, I'll show you. All right, so this is where I ultimately ended up, kind of where I originally thought I was gonna get a pretty good shot. So I got the tripod set up. Just like I explained before, you've got the building and then you've got the tree beside it. You have nice separation between the two, and then you also have separation where the swing set is. Not enough, not as much as I would like to have it separated from the tree, but it's pretty close to it. So what are you gonna do? We're gonna take the shot, and it's just one of those things. But the building is really nice. And one thing that I noticed while I was walking around is that in the windows, you can see through the window to the next window, and then you can see outside. And I didn't really like that in my shot. What I wanted when I was thinking about this composition is when I was walking around this area was getting no light through the window, so completely blocking it out. And I'll show you what I mean. And so if I just move around, you can see how things change, and then there you go. You don't see anything. So that to me makes a big difference in it. I don't really want to see through the structure, and I don't want to have to stack a bunch of images. Honestly, I really prefer to get my shots in a single image because it just makes working with them so much easier. I think that's gonna do it. Happy with that. I'm at 24 millimeter focal length. I'm at f11. That's typically what's the sharpest for the 16 and 35 that I'm using. And ISO 100 because we need almost basically no noise. And I'm on a 2-second timer because that's how we do it. So now that I've got that, now I am going to bracket this exposure, and it is too early really to be doing this, but you know what? There's a bunch of clouds coming, and that might block all of my light, so this is the only light I get. I'll be, just kind of upset. Honestly, I'd probably be pretty upset if these clouds rolled in and it destroyed all of the light. That happens to me quite frequently, and it makes me pretty sad. Then again, that's why we just keep coming back out to locations to shoot. Because you probably won't get it the first time, honestly. So I got a couple shots there, so I'll be able to bracket the exposures. Now I'm just gonna check these images, make sure that they're tack sharp. Because there's nothing worse than getting home being like, oh man, I missed focus. Ask me how I know. Yeah, these are looking pretty good. Sometimes the light just doesn't work out because the clouds roll in and it blocks this beautiful sunset you thought you were going to get. It is quite pretty setting behind the clouds, but it's not what I wanted. I was hoping that light would go swoosh and splash right on to the building and the trees. Maybe light up some of the foreground, but that's how it goes sometimes. But it's really not that far from home, so, I'd like to come back when the weather gets better. Maybe it's not so chilly out, because the wind today has been crazy. So I'm going to pack up and head home and get myself some dinner. Now, right before I packed up, there was actually a break in the clouds, and there was a nice soft glow that was illuminating the landscape. So I quickly found a third composition, one that I was eyeing after the first shot that I showed, and I wanted to get in closer. I wanted to fill the frame more with the building and with the grass in the foreground, while keeping the tree separated, pushed off to the right. Let's take a look at the shot and let me know what you think.